Week 11 is behind us, and it was a crazy one. We had some weird injuries. We had some surprise performances, not from starters and from starters. But we need to talk waivers because there's a bunch of people that we need to look at before the playoffs get rolling. So let's start it off with Fantasy Whiplash Live right now. Play the music. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's another Tuesday night. That means it's time for another episode of Fantasy Whiplash. And I have my good buddy, Alex Johnson, who's a Patriots fan, here with me tonight, even though it's Patriots week for my god-awful defense. So I'm really looking forward to that. Alex, how are you, man?
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk to you this week. It's Patriots Bengals week. Am I allowed to talk to you?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe just for like this hour.
Yeah, well, at the end of the week, I'll thank you for helping bolster Drake May's, chances at MVP, after he beats up on your defense.
Well, it's the least we can do.
Yeah.
Alex, you want to tell everybody before we get going here where they can find your stuff?
Yeah, so all my stuff's at yardsperfantasy.com. Most of it's on the Yards Per Fantasy YouTube channel. You can just search for Yards Per Fantasy on YouTube. Usually put out a Plays of the Week video every week, and on Saturday night around 9 o'clock. Usually one of us is late, so it's more like 9:30. And then Sunday mornings we do our start-sit show. 12 o'clock, 12:20.
Yeah, we do the sleeper show we do on Saturday nights is it's a lot of fun, and we hit a lot of them. It's not uncommon for us to get like 4 out of 6. Everybody has bad weeks sometimes, but I'm always too early. So I would have told you last week to start Chris Rodriguez and you'd have hated me. But if I'd have told you this week to start Chris Rodriguez, you'd be like, hey, way to go.
That is right.
So anyway, but yeah, we do have a pretty good history. Pretty good history there of getting people. Before we get too far into this, I want to remind everybody, please do like and subscribe to this video. Ring the bell so you get notified whenever we go live. And it certainly helps us in the algorithm. The more comments we get, the more likes we get, the more people find it just when they're looking around for waivers, injuries, NFL week 12, any of that stuff. So I want to welcome the people that are in the chat right now. I see Jamie Pirog is here. Jamie will be here for approximately 45 seconds before he has to leave and go to his show. Angie says, am I riding solo tonight? Can you not see Alex? I mean, are we having screen issues here right now? FF, the Mad Dog, Dane is here. Always a pleasure. Dane put out a news blurb today, and it was about Aaron Rodgers' injury. And Dane said it's still up in the air whether the Bears owner is going to suit up for the game.
There's no way he's not missing that game. He won't let it happen. No way.
No, he won't. And Aaron Rodgers can sneeze the wrong way and beat the Bears.
His last game against the Bears ever.
So there's Angie. She said, "Oh, never mind. Hi, Alex." That's what you sound like. Enjoy the show, everyone. I gotta hop on my live. See, just as I predicted. My girlfriend is here too. Hi, baby. All right. Let's this was a weird weekend. I not only myself, first of all, this was easily the worst week of fantasy football I had this season. I lost in so many leagues, and it was either because my starter got his carries eaten into by somebody else, or buys, or the guy I was playing against had said other guy and like just kind of threw him in there to fill in for a buy. So how about you? Did you fare well this weekend?
Not exactly. No, we had a few more losses than the typical week, but we'll make it out the other side. We'll be all right.
Lost by 1 in 3 separate leagues.
Ooh.
Oh, man, Alex, that's brutal, bro.
Brutal.
That is. Yeah, so I think, what got me thinking about the show tonight was, first of all, I have Alex on here. And if you don't know about Alex, he is the biggest fan of handcuffs in the entire universe. He loves them. I mean, he stocks them all year. He loves handcuffs. Isn't that right, Alex?
That is correct. Handcuff is that's my love language of fantasy football.
That's right. And a bunch of the guys that really overperformed on Sunday are said handcuffs. We had Bashal Tootin. We had, Sean Tucker, I guess, was a handcuff, although I think we all knew he was probably going to get more carries. Tyler Algier scored. Ollie Gordon scored. And they both got, a chunk of yards too. Who were you most impressed with out of the gang besides Tucker? Because obviously we know that he was on fire.
You're gonna tie my hands on Sean Tucker?
Did you have him on Saturday night?
I sure did. He was
your sleeper on Saturday night.
Sleeper of the week. You're very welcome. Don't look at the rest of the ones that I talked about, but just remember Sean Tucker. The rest of them flopped. Sean Tucker saved the day. But yeah, no, I was Bashal Tootin. Bashal Tootin, I think the Tootin, obviously he's got the ankle injury. If that, turns out to be okay, the Tootin takeover is the wheels are starting to turn on the Tootin takeover. He's just proving to be far more explosive than Travis Etienne at this point in his career. And I think, we're going to see him eat more and more into that workload, over the next several weeks. I don't know if he'll fully become like the official RB1, but I think he can be, the 1B, maybe even the 1A alongside Travis Etienne. I think, and if anything happens to Etienne, he's a league winner for sure. But I think we're getting to the point where Bashal Tootin is about to graduate from handcuff status and just be a flex,
Yeah. And, the other reason I wanted to bring these guys up is because several of them are not heavily rostered. Bay Shelton's a great example. He's 41% taken in Yahoo leagues, which means he's just out there ripe for the picking. So at this point, when you're going through waivers, as we slowly try to wean ourselves off of the buys, and you're not just trying to plug and play every single week, instead of finding depth out and chasing points, because a guy had a good week and you're like, well, maybe he'll be a nice depth piece for the playoffs. I mean, you need to handcuff your own guys, if not other people's too. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we're at the point in the season where it's time to let go of those, your tight end, your backup tight ends, your backup quarterbacks, your fifth receiver. Obviously this is league dependent. You got to know your league settings, your roster size, and so forth. But and start stashing those handcuff running backs, because as we get later into the season, not only are they going to become more valuable if something happens to their starter, all of a sudden you get a free starter in your lineup who's going to make a significant impact, and you can't find those types of guys on the waiver wire. But also, as we get deeper into the season, the more hits running backs are taken, the more more of a risk of starting running backs going down with an injury. Saquon Barkley, for example, you want to stash Tank Bigsby.
And a lot of them need a breather. If they haven't missed any time this year, they're like, at this point, it's starting to wear on them a little bit. Right,
exactly. Yep.
I know we should mention that Algier was one, and that's not really surprising, although he is still not rostered in enough leagues. But he's clearly becoming the goal line back. I think if it goes beyond, if it's beyond 5 to 7 yards out, it's gonna be Bijan still handling the ball. But when they get up right next to the goal line, they've shown a real desire to have Algier carrying the ball, which is surprising when you've got Bijan Robinson. But let's not forget that Algier was always a good back. He was a good back when Bijan came into the league.
Yeah, I do think, if I remember correctly, I believe Bijan actually got, for the first time this year, got multiple goal line carries in week 11 last week. He was vulturing touchdowns from Tyler Algier.
Right.
At the goal. But yeah, you're right. Typically, very frustratingly, Tyler Algier dominates the touches down there in the red zone, inside the 10, inside the 5. It's very annoying for Bijan Robinson managers. Bijan can do enough from outside the 20s. He's explosive enough. He's good enough in the passing game. He can make up for that. But could you imagine if he starts getting more of that goal line work as well? We're looking at a pretty good fantasy running back right there.
That's right. And Algier, once again, it's a handcuff. If you have Bijan and Algier's not on your roster, you're making a huge mistake. You're missing a tremendous opportunity. Just to have the guy stashed, just in case in the playoffs, Bijan goes down and he's your bread and butter. You got to have somebody else that. It's different when you're formulating depth. Tell me if you feel this way. When you're formulating depth, even if a player is pretty attractive to you, that's one thing, but you're not really sure. The usage isn't guaranteed yet. Whereas if a handcuff takes over for a starter, how many carries he's going to get, how many snaps he's going to play.
Yeah, yeah. In most cases, there are, the higher end handcuff running backs. You can pretty much project the role, and that's what makes them such valuable handcuff running backs. Like Tyler Algier, for example. If anything happens to Bijan, he is the guy in that backfield. I can't even tell. Maybe I should know. Maybe I should be embarrassed to admit this, but I can't even tell you who's behind Tyler Algier on that depth chart.
I couldn't.
I think that's the
I
only
couldn't
depth
either.
chart in the league that I could say that about. But he is the guy if anything happens to Bijan. And I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to be a Bijan Robinson manager to want to stash Tyler Algier. I have Tyler Algier in leagues that I don't have Bijan, and that's even more exciting because now not only like if I have Bijan and he goes down, okay, I get to replace him with Tyler Algier. It's a nice insurance policy. But if I don't have Bijan and all of a sudden Bijan does go down and I have Tyler Algier stashed in my roster, all of a sudden I'm getting this free starting running back. I'm not just getting a downgraded version of Bijan, which is a nice insurance policy. I'll give you that. But I am getting all of a sudden this starting running back that I didn't have before that I can, add into my lineup or whatever, flex him out, put
Yeah,
him on the trade block, whatever I want to do.
yeah, and you're getting that free running back, and also watching one of your league mates really start to fret and start to say things like, "Why didn't I pick up Tyler Algier?" And
Right.
all of a sudden, you're sitting over there in the corner looking real smart.
Exactly. Nobody is rushing to the waiver wire to pick up, I don't know, Darius Slayton. When Malik Neighbors went down, nobody is spending all their fab. There's not this big competition to go pick up Darius Slayton off the waiver wire. There are 14 Darius Slaytons on the waiver wire. If anything happens to Christian McCaffrey, for example, everybody is going to bid their entire budget to go get Brian Robinson. So why don't you just stash that guy now? Just stash him now.
Yeah, I think in a lot of leagues he is stashed already because there are so many people that kind of came into the season very pessimistic about whether or not CMC could stay on the field. Maybe he's less rostered now, but even when he first got moved to San Francisco, a lot of people were like, "Nah, hang on to him. I'll hang on to him," because they still thought McCaffrey would go down. Let's stay in Atlanta, though, and switch gears. Michael Penix is going to the IR, maybe the ER too. I don't know. He's going to the IR, and he's getting another opinion, but they're saying that they're not very hopeful that he's going to be back this season. And that he's probably done. So it's Kirk Cousins in the meantime. I want to know, what do you think we're going to get?
Well, if you had asked me a few weeks ago, I would have said, I kind of like it with we actually did talk about it a few weeks ago. I kind of liked the idea of Kirk Cousins stepping into that offense. Another year removed from the Achilles injury, fully recovered from the elbow, shoulder, arm, whatever he was dealing with in the second half of last year. But then he came out a couple of weeks ago, started a game when Penix initially missed some time, and he threw for a whopping 173 yards with no touchdowns.
Looked an awful lot like 2024, didn't it?
Yeah, and then he came out last week after Penix went down and he completed 43% of his passes for 48 yards.
That's not good.
No. It might be done for Kirk Cousins. This might be the end of his career, unfortunately. And now he might not even have Drake London to throw to.
Yeah. London also is getting a second opinion. They said he's week to week, which is, it's never good when they say that. It means they really have no idea.
Well, I saw one of the Twitter doctors saying that it was a similar injury to what Ricky Pearsall had, and we were told he was week to week.
So he'll be back halfway through next season.
Yeah.
Do you mean he got shot? Speaking of quarterbacks, I don't know if you watched the Spain game. I'm doubting you did.
I tried not to.
Yeah. Washington is really bad. And it's not like last year where they have a couple holes and Jaden Daniels was still able to make it work. But they've got more holes now and sank money into older guys, and they can't even stay on the field. I don't think we're going to see Jaden Daniels again at this point because their record has gotten so out of hand that why hurry him back, right?
Yeah, I think last week losing to the Dolphins, pretty much the nail in that coffin. I wouldn't put it at a 0% chance that we see him, but I think coming into last week, I would have said, probably a 50-50 chance that we see him again this year. I think it probably gets knocked down to about, 20%. I would say it's unlikely. And I mean, it doesn't help that they don't have Terry McLaurin. They don't have even Noah Brown in that offense. The running backs are terrible. They've got a running back as their wide receiver one, and Zach Ertz, he's not the same guy he used to be either.
Right.
You can't rely on him being the top target getter in that offense anymore. It's been a brutal season. The defense has regressed pretty significantly from where it was last year as well.
Much so.
So yeah, I think it's over. I think it's over for the Commanders, and it's probably over for Jaden Daniels, which is unfortunate. I mean, he wasn't playing that well even before his injury, which
he really wasn't. And I think if Jaden's not coming back, then we're not going to see McLaurin anymore either. So
yeah,
I mean, that's two guys that are, pretty much 100% rostered in fantasy leagues. And these owners or these managers are really hoping and praying that they're going to come back. And I'm here to tell you, I don't think it's happening. At this point, McLaurin, at the very least, I think you should just dump.
I mean, his injury to begin with initially was like this mysterious thing. They weren't giving us much information about it. It was a knee, and then it was a thigh, and then it was a quad, and it was just a leg injury. And he'll be back in a couple of weeks, and then it turned into like a month, and then he comes back and he re-injures it the first game he comes back.
This happens with just about every wide receiver that holds out and then demands a trade. I mean, it's all too common now. It's so common. I think the Players Association needs to step in and tell guys to stop doing that. Because every single time you got your Ayuks and your McLaurins and your who was it? Myers didn't get badly injured, but similar to that, these guys that are holding out that are like, "Oh, I'm demanding a trade," and they don't even really want to be traded. They're just trying to force the hand.
Yeah.
And then they're not ready. Because I don't know if they're too pompous to work out.
I think
or if there's just no substitute for gameplay.
Yeah, I think there's just there's a difference between working out on your own. You can work out super intensely on your own. I don't doubt that these guys were doing that. There's a difference between that and actually out on the practice field football shape. You just can't replicate that on your own. Unfortunately, I think it leads to these injuries.
So you've got, we talked about Kirk Cousins not looking good. We talked about Jaden not really looking good prior to the injury. How bad does JJ McCarthy look?
He's been brutal. But we
Yeah,
do have to remember he's only 5 starts in.
right.
He's still, I mean, we'll get to a point where we can't keep saying that anymore. You can't be like, oh, he's only 25 starts in, but
Yeah, and he was like talking about himself in the third person the other day. He was like, I gotta let 9 out sooner. I'm like, oh, come on, man.
he's got the physical tools. He can run. He's got the big arm. He can get it done. He's got the size. I mean, he just he's got the weapons. He's got weapons galore. I mean, if you can't complete 50% of your passes with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson and Aaron Jones out of the backfield, Jalen Naylor's having some decent weeks. If you can't barely complete 50% of your passes in that offense, it's a very quarterback friendly offense. I mean, it resurrected Sam Darnold's career playing in that offense. I think there's definitely reason to be concerned. I want to caution because it's only 5 weeks, but reason for concern. I mean, he's regressing. He is regressing. I mean, if you look his yards per attempt, it's steadily gone down. He was in like that 7.5 range his first couple of starts. Last week it was like 4.7 yards per attempt. The completion percentage, he hasn't gone over 56% completions since week 1. And we know how bad he played in week 1. He was
at this point, if he continues down this path, it's going to seriously, it already affects everybody because you've got an entire team of reliable fantasy playmakers that have all just turned into boom and bust. Even Jefferson. I
was just going to say that on our start sit show last week, we started getting Justin Jefferson questions. People were questioning whether they should play him.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
Where we are. Yeah.
But yeah, it's also, I mean, we don't need to look forward to 26 here, but I just, it's going to negatively affect their draft positions in next year's draft. And all you can do is hope that McCarthy gets his act together and you got one of these guys at a discount.
At this point, do you think they're regretting letting Sam Darnold walk? They got to be, right?
I think so. I think the way he's playing in Seattle, it'd be a whole nother story if he kind of went back to just being Sam Darnold because he had less weapons.
Well,
but
not only did they let Sam Darnold walk, they let Daniel Jones walk. He was on that roster at the end of last year. They let both of those guys walk in favor of JJ McCarthy. They passed up on Aaron Rodgers. So they've obviously saw something last year that made them believe in him. And we know that, Kevin O'Connell, he's, the quarterback whisperer. So I think we still have to trust that some development is going to happen with this kid. Is he going to be a superstar? I'm not sure, but I do think it's too soon to panic. But the alarm bells are starting to go at least a little bit right now.
Well, too bad I wasn't quicker on the draw. I could have played an alarm bell for you.
Do you want me to say it again?
Okay, I want to take a minute, if you don't mind, Alex, and talk about our app Fast Draft, which you are familiar with. Man, I tell you what, I put together a ton of lineups on Sunday, and I was like, I'm going to make so much money. And I came away with nada. I'm sorry, $5.
Not this week, you're not.
I got $5. But And Freiermuth was in a bunch of those. So that didn't work out so well. But for anybody that doesn't know what Fast Draft is, it is a season-long best ball competition, akin to Underdog and such like that. Now, obviously, the season started, so the best ball is over, but the similar thing is now it's more DFS style. So now, just like you would on DraftKings, you pick the guys that you think are going to do well, plug them into a lineup. You only have to pick 6 dudes. It takes like literally 8 minutes to draft against 7 other people. Or you can do the Super Slam where you don't draft at all. You just pick your 6 players, put them in the lineup. There's no salaries. It's just you and a bunch of other people saying this guy's going to do better than that guy. But enough from me. Let me let the Podfather talk about it for a minute. We'll be right back.
Pour one out for an incredible best ball season. It was a breakout 2025 for Fast Draft, but now the NFL action has started. That means it's DFS season. That's right. You might think, oh, wow, DFS, I can't win DFS. Oh, but you can on Fast Draft. You just pick any 6 guys, and you put them in a handful of booster spots. There's no salary rubric you have to follow. You're not going up against thousands of killer bots in these tournaments. Oh, no. These are regular people grabbing their 6 favorite plays of the week, and that's all you have to do. And we post the ownership so that you can choose how much chalk you want. There is no drafting. It's called the Quick 6 Super Slam. The Quick 6 Super Slam is the signature DFS contest at Fast Draft. It is changing DFS. We are making DFS great again. So go to fastdraft.app and use your host promo code for a $50 deposit match. And let's go start drafting faster.
There you have it. Start drafting faster. Use that promo code you see on the screen. It says WHIP. That'll get your dollar for dollar match up to 50. If you do 10, it'll be 10. If you do 20, it'll be 20. Yeah, so that's first time people that log in, they can use that. And getting matched, it's not expensive to play. The Super Slam is $10. That's the one where you're not even drafting. And when you draft against 7 other people, it's $5. And you can win several hundred just per week. You know what I mean? So check that out. What do you think, Alex? I was going to mention some of the other handcuffs. Of course, do you want to talk about Sean Tucker?
Well, I mean, we don't have to talk about Sean Tucker, but I mean, I'm a little worried about Sean Tucker moving forward.
Yeah, that's my question.
Bucky Irving's about to come back.
Yeah.
Just when Sean Tucker breaks out, Bucky Irving is coming back. Now, you can debate, because I think before you would have said Rachaad White's the handcuff in Tampa Bay. Now we're looking at Rachaad White / Sean Tucker with a preference towards Sean Tucker potentially. I think if anything, if Bucky Irving were to miss more time, whether it's week 12 or he comes back this week and he gets injured again, whatever. If Bucky Irving were to miss more time, I think Sean Tucker at this point has gotten himself to the point where he would be the guy who's going to take the majority of the carries in that backfield. Now, is the majority going to be 20 carries? Probably not, because they're still going to get Rachaad White plenty of snaps, especially in the passing game. And I just don't think, that offense is going to be an offense that's going to hand the ball to a single running back 20, 25 times a game. But I think, will it favor Sean Tucker? Yeah, absolutely. And I think he could give you some, RB2 weeks, some RB2 production, especially in good matchups. like we saw against the Bills, where he went and he exploded for 3 touchdowns, had a big week.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning that even though they're really slow playing Irving's return, and it's actually his shoulder which is slowing him down, not the ankle. But because they kept saying they don't want him to get hit. So I know they're slow playing it, and I know he's working his way up and feeling better. But until he gets hit by some big linebacker, and gets up, like, everybody's going to hold their breath.
And he's not a big running back either.
No,
he's not going to take that big of a hit. It's not going to take that big of a hit.
Exactly. I got Alex, we get 2 questions in the chat, which means Pete must have reposted the show. God bless Pete. This one is from Andrew Burrell. He says Christian Watson or Trey Tucker this week in half PPR.
Yeah, it's going to be Christian Watson then.
You doing Christian Walker? You like the way he's trending right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, we saw last week Matthew Golden's took a pretty big step back, snap share wise. I think Christian Watson's a big part of that. But yeah, I have Christian Watson. I just did my rankings today for week 12. I have Christian Watson ranked pretty significantly higher than Trey Tucker, even though Trey Tucker is the wide receiver 1 in that offense. But we saw last night, even in a money matchup against the Cowboys, what does wide receiver 1 in Las Vegas with Geno Smith as your quarterback really mean? And you add in the fact that they're playing a good Browns defense. Don't let the Browns' terrible offense blind you from how good their defense is.
Oh my God, so good. I saw somebody on Twitter was like, "Hey, what defense should I stream this week?" And somebody in the comments was like, "Get the Browns." And I'm like, the Browns are not available. I'm here to tell you, he's not going to be able to get the Browns.
I would say in some, more casual leagues, people just see the team name Browns. They think, oh, that team sucks. I'm not going to pick them up. They might be available in some casual leagues.
I'm with you on this for Andrew. I also would do Christian Walker. I haven't even finished my rankings yet. But just going off the matchups and the way Christian Watson, has played since coming back from injury, he just looks like he's ready to go. You know what I mean? He's showing no ill effects. And to be perfectly honest, number 1 wideout or not, Trey Tucker, I feel like we just get promised every week that it's coming because he had that one huge week. And then every week goes by and we're like, well, maybe next week. So I'm not into that. So I'm going Christian Watson as well. We've got another 1 or 2 here, and if we end up taking the rest of the time to answer questions, so be it. Blurpy says, do I trade Rico Dowdle, Debo, and Mark Andrews for Kyron Williams and Jefferson? Full PPR. And we're going to assume this is all redraft because the guy with Jefferson is not trading for that in Dynasty. My personal feeling is that right now I would, at this moment, this is This is tough. I don't know. I don't know if you're really in need of a running back, but Kyron's obviously a great one to get. I do prefer the way the situations are going. I prefer Rice over Justin Jefferson straight up.
Wait. Rico?
But
Rico?
huh?
You mean Rico?
Oh
What do you mean
God,
Rice?
I can't read. Oh my God, I'm like Rice. Yeah, Rice. Rico Debo and Andrews for yeah. I mean, if I can get Jefferson and Kyron Williams for those three, absolutely.
Yeah, I
Look,
agree.
Dowdle has been amazing, but he cannot he can't keep getting 150 yards a game.
No, he can't. Yeah, and I plugged this deal into the yards per fantasy trade calculator, and it agrees that yes, we want the Kyron and Justin Jefferson side. As much as Justin Jefferson is not performing up to his standards, I mean, it's Mark Andrews not performing up to his standards necessarily either.
Right.
He's had some weeks, but he's unreliable, touchdown dependent for the most part. Rico, I do like, but he's the offense, and opposing defenses know that he's the offense, and
Right.
somebody is going to say, you know what, we got to let Bryce Young beat us, and they're going to go and shut down that run game. And I think Bryce Young will collapse within himself at that point. But Kyron in one of the best,
whether or not Teteroa plays the way he did on Sunday.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, that's exactly. But Kyron, he's the top running back, one of the best offenses in the league. Justin Jefferson, at his worst, he's a wide receiver too in fantasy football.
At his worst, he's Debo Samuel.
Right, yes, exactly. I mean, yeah, we talked about the Commanders before, and I threw a little dig at Debo. They're starting a running back at wide receiver, and that's Debo Samuel.
Yeah, and Mariota has played well, but he's not Jaden Daniels.
Right. I mean, Debo will give you some good weeks, but Debo will also give you 3 catches for 23-yard weeks as well. We're not going to get that from Justin Jefferson, I hope. But you never know. You never know.
No, you'll get at least one catch for 23 yards from Jefferson, probably.
Yeah.
He wants our opinion. Bryce traded Jamar and Jordan Addison for Puka and Christian Watson. What do you think? He's one game over 500. Would you have done it?
I don't know if I have a strong preference one side or the other here.
I'm not sure I do either. And this is not the Bengals fan in me. But I would be hesitant just because I feel like I'm always on pins and needles with Puka Nacua every time he hits the ground.
I was just gonna say I think the tiebreaker goes to Jamar because we know that Puka is putting himself at risk on every snap, essentially.
Yeah.
Just the way he plays.
Yeah, so I'd prefer to keep Jamar because even if they're out of it, with the exception of the fact that he's got suspended for his Hawk Tua this week. But even if they're out of it, Jamar's still going to put up numbers.
Yeah, so I did plug this into the yards per fantasy trade calculator as well. It does prefer the Jamar side. It is relatively close, so you didn't get roasted on this deal here. It's not a terrible trade. I mean, any trade that gets you Puka Nacua is not a terrible trade.
Yeah,
At that point, it's personal preference. If you like Puka Nacua more than Jamar, then I can't argue with you too heavily. I would prefer Jamar, but it's close enough where, you know, if you have that personal preference, then get your guy.
And as JJ McCarthy goes, so goes Jordan Addison and everybody else, like we talked about. Addison has not had very good weeks lately because I have him in a lot of leagues and I keep being disappointed. Not like he's putting up donuts or anything, but like if he gets 10 points, I'm like, all right, 10 points instead of 22. So, yeah, no, I mean, you obviously went with your gut, and I think your gut's fine on this, man. Like Alex said, anytime you're getting Puka back, that's not too shake. You're welcome. I was just gonna bring up, I think,
Which breaking news. Speaking of Jamar Chase, sorry to interrupt your show. Breaking news. Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase's appeal of his 1-game suspension has been denied.
So he will be out.
He will be out.
Well, that was quick. Maybe you spit on the judge.
Well, the judge was Jordy Nelson.
Oh, you can't spit on Jordy. You got to be faster.
You think think Aaron Rodgers is getting in his ear like, hey, that's my division rival. You got to let him sit out that game.
Right. I wanted to talk about, because this sort of falls into the handcuff category. Let's play Who's the Handcuff? And it goes directly to you, the Patriots fan. Who is the handcuff for who when Ramondre comes back? Because he started practicing this week.
Well, I think this is a situation where there's not necessarily nobody necessarily is defined as the handcuff. I think Trevion is going to now be the RB1, whereas Ramondre is going to be like the 1B. I think, let me say, Ramondre is now going to take a step back to Trevion. All right, he's not going to have the same workload he had before.
I agree.
I will say he will have a much greater workload than any of us want him to have, unfortunately.
Oh, no, I would like him to have a lot of work.
Well, yeah, this week you do.
If that's okay. I might go all Nancy Kerrigan on Trevion. There was another one I thought. Any thoughts on Ollie Gordon? That's the first time he's gotten significant run lately. He had 9 carries for like 45 yards, scored a touchdown. Is that enough for them to push him into the mix a little more, or was it just that Achane was already having a nutso game?
Well, I think if I remember correctly, the previous couple of weeks he had been dealing with some type of injury, which is why we saw Jalen Wright have that weird week where he popped up for like a pretty significant number of snaps. I think that was in week 10. And then Ollie Gordon kind of bounced back with a pretty decent snap share last week.
Yeah.
And he looked good doing it. He got if I remember correctly, got a touchdown.
Yes, he did.
It was one of those, early Sunday morning games. You know how much I hate those. So I
do.
I protest them pretty hard. Yeah, I don't think there's enough in that offense where we can say, oh, hey, Ollie Gordon is a guy that we can start every week as, like an RB3 or a flex play. He's going to be touchdown dependent in that situation, but I think he's a pretty decent handcuff. I do think if anything were to happen to Devon Achane, we're going to see a decent amount of Jalen Wright mixed in with Ollie Gordon, but I think Ollie Gordon would be the RB1. But I don't think.
I think maybe Ollie Gordon is more important to a chain owners than he is to other owners who could pick somebody else. You know what I mean? I know we discussed grabbing the handcuff of your competition, but I just don't. I don't know that. Ollie Gordon, you're probably wasting a roster spot because Devon Chain keeps fooling me into thinking he's gonna like break something soon, and he went all last year without, and so far pretty much all this year without.
Well, I will admit that I did watch a little bit of that game. There was a hit.
I just assumed you slept through it.
There was a hit. Well, we did our start-sit show through half of it. We missed the whole overtime period, remember? There was a hit on Devon Achane in that game where I literally thought he got broken in half. He had like the biggest defensive lineman on his back, someone else on his legs. He was trying to drive forward on like a short yardage something. I don't know. I could be making this up. Who knows? And he was just like completely bent over in half. I thought that was it. He jumped right up and he was fine. So, I mean, he's tiny, teeny tiny, but the dude can hold up. I don't know what he's made of, but he can hold up. And man, he doesn't seem to lose that explosiveness no matter how many hits he's taking. He's still got that speed. He's still got that explosion.
Yeah, I don't get it because he was so touch and go the first season as far as just getting banged up.
Yeah, he was
missing time and going to the blue 10, skipping one game and then missing 2 games later on. And then last year, like I swore up and down, I put him on my do not draft list. I was like, there's no way he's going to survive.
Just keep waiting for that injury, and it's not happening.
Yeah. I got another question here from Easy Queasy. He wants to know, should he trade Addison for Christian Watson?
Oh, man.
I'm guessing this is born of the conversation we just had.
Yeah, I think so. We talked about both of those guys.
Because we both talked up Watson and then talked down Addison.
Well, now we got to stick to our guns, don't we?
I would say that my preference is still Addison, in the hopes that McCarthy gets it together, which he can. Then I'm a big Addison fan in general, and Watson, it's just I can't stand Packer wide receivers because you just don't know who's going to be the only one that catches something at 1 week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, nobody gets 10 targets in that offense.
No.
It's all, this guy has 3 targets, that guy has 5 targets, this guy has 6 targets. You got to hope that somebody breaks along a long one or somebody gets in the end zone. And I will say that's typically Christian Watson, but
right. Well, a small sample size this season.
Yeah, but if you were going to bet on one guy in that offense exploding for big play, it's going to be Christian Watson.
Yeah, it ain't Jaden Reed.
Hey. Yeah, he's approaching his return, I believe.
Yeah, well, he can just approach.
It's all over for Christian Watson when Jaden Reed comes back.
No, it's not.
No, it'll be all over for Matthew Golden. Put him in the grave.
No, it won't. They'll find a way to divvy up the catches to all 12 of them.
One catch each.
Yeah.
Jordan Love drops back like 20 times a game.
You see
We'll give him
Wicks,
one catch
all of a
each.
sudden Savion Williams will start, getting a couple more targets.
Don't you forget about Mr. Luke Musgrave lingering in the wings here.
He's horrible.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, he didn't show out for you when you picked him on the sleeper show.
Yeah, it was a tough matchup.
Maybe you were early. I would stick with Addison personally, man.
Yeah.
That's my preference. But go with your gut at the end of the day, whatever you feel more comfortable with. If you particularly like Jordan Love, I can see why you would want Christian Watson. I am not one of those people. So I can't get down with that. Okay, so let's we're running low on time here. Well, we talked about Travion and Ramondre and Ollie Gordon. Tyler Algier we covered. Let's you got a couple waivers with you?
Yeah.
I mean, because everybody's got to go on tonight and do something. We still got buys to contend with. We've got more injuries to contend with, although we did have quite a few people come back and look pretty good, like Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
But yeah, why don't you give me one? I'll give you one.
Well, I mean, obviously we have the obvious guys like Sean Tucker and Michael Wilson, but I don't want to give you the obvious guys. I want to look at
You think Michael Wilson is still an advantageous pickup if Marvin Harrison Jr. is coming back?
No. I mean, I'm not sure if Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be back this week. I don't know how long it's going to take him after that surgery, but we'll see. No, as far as like the long term of the season, I think Michael Wilson probably turns back into Michael Wilson pretty quickly here. If you need a streamer for week 12, I would, prioritize him. I mean, a streaming wide receiver. If they're going to let Jacoby Brissett drop back 57 times, I think we'll be okay. I think even Michael Wilson can have a big
volume is king.
He had more catches, double the amount of catches as Marvin Harrison Jr.'s career high. Marvin Harrison Jr. never reached the yardage that Michael Wilson reached in this one game. There's one game as a wide receiver one. He totally outdoes the career highs of Marvin Harrison. But I was going to go a little bit deeper. I think we can stash. I want to stash a guy. Can we pick up a guy that we can stash? Like
Absolutely.
Maybe a guy who was dropped several weeks ago. Showed some flashes upon his return from his rapping career back on the football field. Do we want to stash a guy like Darren Waller?
What? Darren Waller?
No one's.
I don't have him stashed anywhere.
No one's paying attention to Darren Waller. I'm sure he was dropped in many leagues, and I didn't want to bring an obvious guy to the table here. Why don't we pick up Darren Waller? And while we're talking about tight ends, why don't we pick up if you need a streamer for this week, and maybe this is one I bring to our sleeper show later in the week. But why don't we pick up Noah Fant? We're gonna have no Jamar Chase this week. We're gonna get the Christian Gonzalez treatment on T. Higgins, and that's gonna leave. Some should I go back to my dinner metaphor from our sleeper show? Some side salad and some bread, and that's named Noah Fant, Andre Yoshevas.
I think I actually put Yoshi in one of my lineups already that I was dealing with heavy buys in one of my dynasty leagues. I don't think I've ever started him before. like not even, well, maybe once or twice when T was hurt. But yeah, that's going to be interesting to see who gets the majority of the attention from Flacco. Whether it's going to be Yossi Vash or whether it's going to be Noah Fant. And I mean, because they're going to blanket T. Higgins.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're going to say that's the guy that we're not going to let beat us. Anybody else you want Andre Yoshivas? If you can beat us with Andre Yoshivas, have at it. T. Higgins is not beating us. Not going to let it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got kind of a really off the beaten path one here, and it doesn't have to do with really results so far as much as I've noticed the snap share going up a lot. And the targets going up a lot, and that is Luther Burden.
I got him on my list too. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's, I mean, officially at this point now, he's getting more attention than DJ Moore is. And he's barely getting less attention than Odunze. I think last week he trailed Odunze by like a handful of snaps and one target. So and Odunze hasn't even, what has it been? It's been like in his last 5 games, I don't think he's gotten more than 11 points per. So something's got to give there. I don't know what it's going to be. I spent this whole season talking about how this is the week for DJ Moore to come back, and I never really liked DJ Moore, but I just thought for sure it was inevitable. But maybe the youth movement is going on for Caleb too. I mean, maybe he's just getting down with Burden and Odunze way easier than he does with DJ Moore.
Yeah, and it seems like Olamide Zaccheaus is starting to be phased out of that offense. I will note that.
Thank God, because I can't say
his. I know. Olamide Zaccheaus.
Whatever you say.
I will say I would have a little bit of concern with Burden moving forward if because he's going to be pretty reliant on 3 wide receiver sets, which they do play 11 personnel quite often, usually about 60% of the time. But last week against the Vikings, I don't know if it was matchup based or if it was the fact that they finally have Cole Kmet healthy coming back from the concussion. They got Loveland had some breakout over the last few weeks when Kmet was out, and they played much more 2 tight end sets in that game than they have all season long, and it wasn't even close. Both Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland each played 75% of the snaps. So there's a little bit of a concern there with what that would mean for Luther Burden if, we also have a healthy Rome Odunze and DJ Moore. But I do agree with you that things are starting to trend. You can see the snap share, the target share trends starting to, move in Luther Burden's direction here a little bit. So
yeah, and I'm also guilty I'm also guilty of being a Burden fan for a while. I remember when everybody was pointing at him before Marvin J. Harrison and saying this guy is going to be the guy that goes number 1. And then he had, really, really down year, and that plummeted. But he's a talented dude. I mean, there's no denying it.
I would say, in the midst of handcuff season, if there is, an exception to the rule, if there is going to be a wide receiver that's worth stashing on our bench at this point, with some upside, I do think Luther Burden makes that list. I also think Jaden Higgins makes that list. He's another guy I would prioritize this week as well.
Yeah, I like Jaden a lot. I've got him on quite a few dynasty rosters, and this whole time I've just been dying to use him. But he's just not seeing enough of the field, or he hadn't been. But now that could be changing.
All it takes is Davis Mills, baby. Davis Mills unlocks the game.
That's right.
Just like Jacoby Brissett unlocks the end zone for Trey McBride. Maybe Davis Mills will unlock Jaden Higgins for us.
I'm going to throw kind of a boring one out there, and that is, I was really impressed a couple times this season in the rare cases where he handled the ball with Isaiah Davis in New York. I don't think he's going to just all of a sudden get 10 carries a game or anything, but this is a tremendous handcuff opportunity since Braylon's not there. And he looks explosive when they do give him the ball. And, with the change to Tyrod Taylor, I think that they're going to spend a little more. Well, I keep saying this all season. I keep thinking they're going to go back to relying on what they're good at, which is running the football. But if they do that, then Breece Hall's not going to get 100% of the carries.
That just makes sense, though. You think the Jets are going to do something that's logical?
No.
They had Justin Fields as their quarterback, and they refused to use him in the one thing that he does well is running the football, and they refused to run the ball with Justin Fields. But I agree. I do think Isaiah Davis is worth a stash.
Well, they didn't let him run because Breece Hall's such a good runner, but then they didn't give Breece Hall the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, I like the idea of stashing Isaiah Davis, especially for Hall owners. I think he has to be rostered. Especially now with Tyrod Taylor there. Tyrod is still a game manager. So it's going to be even more boring than they already are.
Well, it can't get worse.
But that means a lot more running. So I would give Isaiah Davis a stash and risk, if you have a large enough bench, risk knowing that you might never use him. But you might, and that's what a handcuff's for.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he unlocks so much, production if anything does happen to Breece Hall.
You got one more?
Yeah, I got a lot.
I got a lot.
Yeah, I made a whole list for you.
We're gonna be here till midnight.
Well, how about we do? I mean, we kind of went away from the obvious guys, but why don't we take an obvious guy like Emmanuel Wilson? If anything, I mean, it sounds like Josh Jacobs probably not going to be available this week, and it could be a multi-week thing. Might not be. Who knows? But Emmanuel Wilson, he played far more snaps than Chris Burks did after Josh Jacobs went out last week, and he's shown in the past that he can play well when given the opportunity. It's a decent enough offense where we want the top running back in the offense. I mean, Josh Jacobs is leading the league in rushing touchdowns. Why don't we take his handcuff and see if we can get 75% of that production? We'll get an RB2 off the waiver wire.
Yeah, and not only that, but I think I don't know. He already played well even when Jacobs was at full health.
Yes.
Just in the times that he would spell him.
Yep.
Or take a couple downs here and there. Emmanuel Wilson played very well. So I agree with that a lot. I really wish we were talking about Marshawn Lloyd right now.
That name literally just flashed through my mind as you were about to say it. Yes, I wish we were too. It's heartbreaking. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe he'll come back for one long run before he pulls another hamstring.
I guess I'll throw another one out here. I'm having a really hard time because I keep wanting to recommend guys that, even though what I said was they don't have to have proven anything yet to possibly be beneficial for the stretch run. And I keep looking at Cedric Tillman, and he's such a good player. And he is the best receiver on that team. It's just the Browns are so bad. And, what if Shador starts? What if that happens at some point?
I think it's about to happen. It's going to happen this week.
I don't think it is. I think they already said Dylan Gabriel is going to play.
Really? You made through the protocol already? I don't think so. I think you're making that up.
You think I'm making that up?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you are.
Okay, well, I'm going to go to my old standby. Jalen Coker had an okay game this week for the first time since he's come back. And I still can't forget how good he was down the stretch last year. And I think that the way Tetaroa played this past Sunday only helps the other side of the field. They're going to have to give him a little more attention, maybe even gets a couple doubles. So yeah, Coker put up 11 points on Sunday, and that's against an Atlanta defense. And everybody keeps quoting the Atlanta passing defense as being pretty good, then I'm not buying it. I think pretty good.
Pretty good.
Well, yeah, I know what the numbers say, but then they turn around and get torched for like 3 games in a row. I don't buy it. I think it's because everybody just keeps running the ball when they're ahead. But and plus that team is broken at this point. I think they're going to lose their will to even try. But regardless, so Coker had his first double-digit fantasy game since he returned against Atlanta. He gets San Francisco this week, who's pretty easy on wide receivers, and a game like that could help springboard him. And then he's got the Saints and the Buccaneers. So some games like that to get his confidence back to where it was last year when he was a little bit cocky. That could certainly help the matter. So I'm not giving up on Coker, and I don't think other people should either. If they just need a wide receiver to stash so that if he catches fire, they've got him already, I think he's worth taking. All right. How about one more, Alex, since you got a whole mess of them?
I do. I'm running out, but I got a few more. Why don't we look at...
Just give me one because we're up against it.
Why don't we... how many leagues is Chris? I don't know the number. How many leagues is Chris Rodriguez still available in? He's still got to be out there.
No, you can't do that.
I'm gonna do it. Chris Rodriguez. He's the guy now. He's done it. He's taken it over.
You can't do that.
That was matchup based, and I told you that at the time that he was not going to produce against the Lions. But you get him in a game.
I picked Chris Rodriguez on our Saturday night sleeper show 2 weeks ago, and he put together a 7-point game.
With a touchdown.
6 of those points came when he found pay dirt. And Alex said, once again, as usual, you were too early. It'll be this week. And I was like, no, it won't. Impossible. The answer to your question, though, is Chris Rodriguez is available in 88% of
available. All right, even for me, that's outrageous. He's the guy. He's the guy in that backfield now. Now I am looking at the schedule. It's a little difficult after the Week 12 bye week. They're on a bye this week, and they get the Broncos. They get the Eagles a couple of times. Although their second matchup against the Eagles is in Week 18, so we don't got to worry about that. But he does get the Dallas Cowboys in fantasy championship week at home. That could be, your nice Chris Rodriguez 12-point game winner.
I look forward to starting Marcus Mariota in that game.
Yeah.
I think, not only is Chris Rodriguez the guy back there, he's like the only guy, because Bill fizzled out real quick. What?
Bill is just, he's funny. He's a funny guy.
Bill from Capitol Hill.
I'm pretty sure I came on this show in the preseason, and me and you were the only ones in the whole fantasy universe, like pulling back the reins a little bit on the Bill hype.
Oh God, yes.
And we were looking like idiots after 2 weeks.
Yeah, that was one of those where I'm like, if I don't like the take, I just roll my eyes and I'm like, just stop.
Yeah.
Look,
you were leading that train, and I was not far behind.
You know what? I got one more random one to ask you about. I don't know if you've looked into them at all. But your boy, he's not actually.
Wait, I was gonna say, don't give me one of these guys who I hate and saying he's my boy. I know you like to do that.
How about
Adonai Mitchell? Adonai Mitchell with I'm trying to guess who you're gonna say. Adonai Mitchell with Tyrod Taylor?
Do you think
no way you were gonna
recommend picking up Adonai Mitchell?
No, there's no way you would. No. All right, go ahead. Who is it?
Tyrell Shavers.
Oh, come on, man.
Well, hey, I mean,
Gabe Davis season.
Huh?
I'm kidding. As a Gabe Davis season.
I mean, he blew up for 19 points on Sunday.
Yeah, he did it all in one catch.
But everybody knows that Isaiah Hodgins is the guy you want on that offense.
That was his 12th career catch in his 13th career game.
What? Well, 13 career games. It takes a while to have your breakout.
He did have 5 targets. I'll give him that. 5 targets, had a touchdown, 19 points.
Yeah.
He will never do it again, but
he's sure better than Keon Coleman, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I guess Tyrell must play special teams. That's the only way I can explain Keon getting benched. And I mean, Keon sucks, but putting
I think it was disciplinary. It was disciplinary for Keon Coleman. But I mean, Keon Coleman, he did something week 1, and then we haven't heard from him since.
I don't think it was disciplinary.
Well,
though.
all right. Well, here's the deal: the discipline
from
helped.
their team said he had a great week of practice, and it was not related to his performance.
Yeah, it wasn't related to his performance, which means it's disciplinary. But you don't. If he's good at football, and you want to discipline him, you do what happened to CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens last night. You sit them out for the first 3 plays, not the whole game for Gabe Davis, Tyrell Shavers, and Mecole Hardman. All right.
Can I just say I am really enjoying this George Pickens blow up season.
Yes.
Even though I hate George Pickens.
How incompetent do you have to be as a Steelers offensive coaching staff to not be able to get anything out of George Pickens? And now he goes to the Cowboys and he's looking like one of the better receivers in the league. He's going to get paid big time in the offseason. They could use a guy like that. They could use a guy like that right now. And they went out and they gave a 2nd round pick for DK Metcalf, handed him a giant bag. They had the guy in house.
Yeah. So he's going to get paid by somebody. And that's why I'm enjoying this so much, because somebody's going to pay him to be the alpha. And that's not him. He's not the alpha. He disappoints as an alpha.
All right. Well,
the only reason he's had success in Dallas is because they can't stop throwing the ball.
What do you mean? He was the alpha for like 4 weeks when CeeDee Lamb was out.
That's what I said, because they throw the ball, because Dak throws it 48 times a game.
Well, okay. Well,
we're gonna answer one more question, and then we are hitting the road. Bo Singleton is here. He said he's in a 12-man flex. Should I trade Rashee and T for Puka? No. I got lucky and traded for T when he was bad. Okay. No comment. Anyone on waiver worth picking over Jerry Jeudy? Yes.
Yeah, the whole list.
Yeah, just name a person. But no, I would not. I wouldn't trade Rashee Rice for Puka straight up. Let alone with Higgins.
I would do that.
No, I wouldn't do it.
1 for 1? Rashee Rice for Puka Nacua?
I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
I would still have that injury concern.
Yeah. I don't think it's a slam dunk, but I think I would take Puka. But if you want to add T. Higgins to it as well, no, thank you. No
way. That's too rich. That's too rich. I am serious about Jerry Jeudy, though. Please don't waste your time on that guy. He's such a bummer. There are other people. I mean, I don't care if this is a 24-person league. Pick up Tyrell Shavers. I don't know.
He's the exact type of guy that I would recommend dropping for one of these handcuff running back stashes. Trim the fat. Trim the fat. He's the roster clogger. He's not going to give you any upside. I mean, he's what has to happen for Jerry Jeudy to be a guy who's starting in your lineup week to week? They have to get Jameis Winston back. That's the only way.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's with Jerry Jeudy at this point, when people think about picking him up, they're not even chasing points. They're just chasing his name.
And and guess what? You're also, by dropping him, somebody in your league is going to say, oh, Jerry Judy. I like that name. It's Jerry Judy. I'm going to go pick that guy up, and that guy is going to waste a roster spot on Jerry Judy instead of you. It's a win-win.
And then I'll tell you what to do. Just leave him there. Let somebody else pick him up, and then drop somebody, and then you just pick up whoever they drop.
Yeah, they're gonna drop Brian Robinson for him because Brian Robinson is the backup to Christian McCaffrey. You're gonna pick up Brian Robinson, and when Christian McCaffrey breaks a leg in week 14, you got yourself a league winner.
Jerry Judy scored double-digit fantasy points this year once. It was in week 1 against the worst defense in NFL history.
I want to say he did something like within the last couple of weeks. Didn't he have like a big game like 3 weeks ago? Am I making that up?
You're making that up. Well, he had 9.3 points.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh in week 6.
19.8 against the Jets.
I'm sorry. I missed the Jets. But regardless, come on.
But the week before that was a 0. And then it was 3.7, 9.3, 3.5, 7.8, 2.7, 9.1. I mean, Terrell Shavers just put up 19 points.
I can't believe he's rostered in 67% of leagues.
He's a former first-round pick.
That's people chasing a name.
Pick. He went to Alabama. His name's Jerry Judy.
They're chasing a name.
Terrell Shavers just gave you the same exact production.
There you have it.
That's Jerry Judy's best week.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
7.3 fantasy points per game. Jerry Judy.
Terrible. So no, it's not him. It's somebody else. If you have more questions, you can hit up Alex on Twitter. He is at @A_Johnson FF. You can hit me up at one word, buy and sell you all together. If you shoot me a DM, and I'm sure Alex too, and ask a question, we're happy to answer it. But definitely come see us on Saturday nights for our sleepers show. We always nail a couple of them, and they're guys that are still very, very low rostered. So a lot of the guys that we recommend, you can just go right out and get and plug them right into your lineup the next morning. And speaking of the next morning, we also do a start and sit show. Actually, it's the afternoon at 12:15. We take the whole thing right up till 1 o'clock. Lots of people in the chat asking questions. That's all we do. We just answer questions the whole time. We get everybody's questions answered by 1 o'clock. So meet us there, and that's on the Yards Per Fantasy YouTube. You can find them online at Yards Per, or just Google on YouTube Yards Per Fantasy, and it'll pop you up. Alex, anything else you want to pimp before we go?
You covered it all.
I did it all, man.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit up the website, and yeah.
I done did it. All right. Say good night, Alex.
Good night. Thanks for having me, man. It was fun.